So I've been pretty fortunate in my freelance career so far to find myself in quite a few remote areas doing filming work, whether this is for documentaries, client work, or anything in between. It's some of my favorite, most challenging environments where I find I learn a lot about myself and get better at what I'm doing. Being in these environments often means that I am also the one responsible for carrying all of my own gear. There's no assistance. Very rarely is there enough crew to bring extra gear as well. So this means that I'm usually bringing everything that I need for a full day of filming in my backpack. So in this video, I just want to go through what I would normally pack for a day on one of those shoots. I'll talk about the bag that I take everything in, and I'll also talk about the gear and how I pack it in that bag. So I'll start off with the backpack itself. It's a 70-liter f-stop gear backpack. It is, other than my cameras, probably my favorite piece of gear because it is so robust and just does exactly what it's supposed to do, and it does it very well. So unzip the back here, and I have the f-stop kind of large ICU in it. These are modular and you can take them out, get different sizes to suit your needs. I have the large one and it has worked well for me so far. So I usually bring 3 main lenses with me on most shoots: a 18-28, a 24-70, and a 70-200. The 18-28 and the 24-70 are both being used to film this video right now, so I can't really show you much about them at the moment. But the 70-200 also comes with me, and it just lives up in this top slot right here. Next up is my drone. I'm currently using the Air 2S, and it just lives in this pocket right here, and then the controller goes right on top of it, and that just lives there. So I'll find myself having to do both stills and video from time to time, depending on the project. So if that's the case, I'll bring along my Sony a7 III for stills, and I have a capture clip plate on the bottom, and that just goes onto this little slot here on my backpack strap if I need to just go hands-free for a second. And the body just lives right here in this little slot when I'm not using it. For audio, I'll normally bring this pouch, which has 2 to 3 Deity recorders and lav mics in it. Often I'll need to put these on the folks that I'm filming for the whole day just to get some audio to use in the edit later. And if that's not the case, they're still nice to have if you need to do interviews or something in the field. And then I also have the timecode generator for these, which is on the camera right now. I think I'll probably do a full video about this whole Deity timecode setup because it's been working really well for me, and I'd just love to talk about it more. So those live right in this part of the backpack. Normally the FX30 would be right underneath there with the lens, but it's being used to film this video, so it is not packed right now. So for batteries, usually for a day of filming, I'll bring 2 99-watt-hour V-mounts. One of them's on the camera right now. This is the second one. More than enough to get me through a whole day with my A7S III rig that I usually use. So the spare V-mount just lives right in this slot in the backpack, and it's easily accessible if I ever do need it. I also have this little pouch which has some spare small Sony NPF batteries, as well as 2 spare batteries for the drone. And this just lives right here, right on top of the lens. Easy to get at. This case is nice and waterproof. So the batteries are safe, and yeah, it's more batteries than I need are in there, but it's always good to have spares. So for accessories, I don't usually bring a whole lot, just a couple ND filters that fit both lenses that are my main ones. So a 72mm and an 82mm 2-to-5 stop, usually good enough for everything that I need it for, and these both just live right here. I keep them in the hard plastic cases so they don't get damaged. And then a little air blower, always very crucial to have, especially in the kinds of environments that I find myself in. There's always pollen or dust or snow or water or whatever floating around, so nice to be able to keep your gear as clean as you can. So this thing comes with me everywhere, and it just lives right in here. A few other accessories that come with me that aren't necessarily filmmaking related, but are still really nice to have if you're filming in remote areas. These are just pretty good things to have no matter what. So first one is a little handheld radio. This is great if you're needing to communicate with other people that you might be filming with, maybe or a helicopter pilot, something like that. And this just lives in this long side pocket on the backpack. Part of the thing that I love about this backpack is it has these two really long side pockets on either side, so they're really good for holding a bunch of stuff. Also bring this. It's just a small foldable saw. Really good if you need to cut branches out of your way or something. Maybe you need to be picked up by a helicopter and there's no good landing spot, so you can use this to chop a few small trees down and make a spot for the helicopter to land. Always good to have that. And then also in that pocket, this is my Garmin InReach. Great for communicating with people throughout the day when there's no cell service. And that just zips up. And then a couple other smaller accessories that just live in the top of my backpack are a headlamp, always nice to have, and this small multi-tool that is a multitude of different Allen key sizes. Pretty much all of my camera gear can be tightened or loosened with this, so it's nice to have around, and I use it pretty much every day. So next is my tripod. This is the Peak Design travel tripod, and I have put a SmallRig fluid head on top of it to make filming easier. Much more control over panning and tilting compared to the ball head that comes with this tripod. So if you're going to use this tripod for filming, I would definitely recommend putting a fluid head on top of it. And this goes in this large pouch on the front of the backpack. Believe it or not, it fits. So I'll just open this up and chuck it in there for you. Let's see how well it fits. That goes in there. And then we just zip it up. Awesome. Sometimes in that pouch I'll put the gimbal as well if I'm using that instead of a tripod, but 90% of the time it's the tripod that's coming with me on shoots. The gimbal does not get used much these days. This pouch also does get used in the winter for avalanche gear, so probe and a shovel. If that's the case, then I will just strap the tripod to the outside of the backpack, but when it's summer and I don't need avalanche gear, the tripod lives in this front pouch. Cool, so now that I've got the tripod packed up, everything else is packed up and ready to go, I'll just talk a little bit about where I keep this. It's the A7S III, all rigged out for a normal day of filming for me. I think I'll do a full video on this setup as well in the future, so stay tuned for that. 99% of the time, this doesn't even go in the backpack. It's just in my hands or at my feet, but if I do need to put it in the bag for some reason, it goes right on the top of the main compartment. So just unzip that, and with the monitor folded fully down and the side LCD folded in, it just rests right in there, and then you can zip it up, tuck it away, and it's good to go. So that's everything that I pack with me for a full day of filming in remote places. If there was anything in this video that you found interesting, let me know. If there's any specific pieces of gear you'd like me to do a full video on or dive deeper into, please let me know. I'd love to make more videos on the gear that I use and how I use it. And if you have any other recommendations on what I should be bringing or how I can pack, let me know in the comments. I'd love to chat with you more there. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.